I didn't believe that they had proven that he'd done it beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's it. And there was no way that I was going to join the abundance of people who wanted to execute him prior to trial. As you always had the correct stance, sir. You always were the person that was strong for his rights, which is the way it's supposed to be, which it is. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's not accepted until Wednesday. He could still change his mind a few more months in county jail. And again, like I say, at the moment, this is just the early stages of what is going on here. This is it. We will see in the next few hours if anything else transpires. But it's one of them. But I'll do. So what should we do? We'll do 10 more minutes of comments, and then we will wrap up. I'm just trying to use this. For some reason, the iPad has decided to just go and do its own thing. So obviously has given up the fucking ghost as well. Eyes down with you. Fed Witness Protection Program. If he was convicted, he could have appeal, taken plea. Makes me want to see the evidence more. I do admit, this is a strange one. And the only thing that there must have been something that has come out. We know that Ann Taylor has been trying to get hold of discovery. Has something come in? That they just think, oh, well, that's it then? Because there's a lot of questions here. Ann Taylor has been teeing this up for a long time to make a strong appeal claim. We thought, and we've thought for a long time, that Ann Taylor could have potentially been playing the appeal game. Let's get everything on the record. And people saying I kept telling you and stuff like that. I don't understand. People saying, I told you he was guilty. I told you he was guilty. Fuck me. He was either innocent or he was guilty. That's as simple as that. If you're somebody who now he's pled and he's guilty, well done. Well done. You were right. Is that what people want? Do you want a pat on the fucking back? Yes, you was right. What I'm saying to you is, if you were someone who was willing to waiver your constitutional rights and be willing to say, fuck it, let's just execute this guy pre-trial, he's done already, then I cannot, for the life of me, jump on board with that. I just can't do it. And anybody who does, I just don't get it. The US judicial system relies on pleas. There's an entire institution behind it. The prosecutor will usually charge someone beyond the suspected crime in hopes the defendant will take a plea. And, we'll see. We will see what happened. There's a lot of questions. I have some questions, and it's bizarre to me. And I'm sure that you guys have got some questions as well. How did we get to where we are? My biggest question, I suppose, in the aftermath of him taking a plea is, why would Idaho offer a plea? Why would they offer a plea? I don't get it. That if they had a really strong case against him, thank you so much, Mad Maven, I appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? If they had a really strong case against him, and bearing in mind that this was a fucking heinous crime, however you want to look at it, for somebody to go into a house and just execute everyone in the house in the manner with which they were executed, it's a fucking heinous crime. And with respect of the death penalty, do you know what I mean? You could think, if ever there was a crime that absolutely fitted the death penalty, then this is it. This is it. Do you know what I mean? That's it. But what I can't understand is why Idaho would offer the plea this late in the game. If they've got all their ducks in a row, I's dotted, T's crossed, why the fuck offer him a plea? They know they're going to piss the families off. They know they're going to really upset with people. They know where the families stand with it. I don't understand. The only thing that I can think of is that the state were potentially afraid that if they went to trial, and even if he was found guilty, had Ann Taylor done a good enough job to have got him out on appeal. Because there's so many fuck-ups in the background that there would have been grounds for an appeal to get him off. And you then have to look into the intricacies of how this entire situation has been handled. And I know that the Gonsalves family are really pissed off and upset. Like baby get a straight on hair. This might be why the G family felt failed by the state of Idaho, because they are failing them again by not making him prove his innocence. I don't think it's so much that. I think that the Gonsalves family literally, the Gonsalves family seem to be balls deep in Bryan Kohberger's guilt. I believe that they think that there's more than one person who's involved in the crime. But the flip side of this coin is you could argue that it's the way in which people have gone out and things have been leaked and people have talked and opened their mouths and chatted and not left this fucking case alone that is likely placed the state of Idaho in a position where they had no alternative but to offer the guy a plea deal because they were concerned that he could get out on appeal because of there's so many fucking things around this case that would have been grounds for an appeal. Like, he would have got an automatic appeal anyway. But that's what I think. I think that this case just becomes such a convoluted mess, and and all of the way in which that was reported, that's likely the problem. The problem is they feared an appeal walk. And they're trying to overcome that. The issue is then, however, we have to bring into question Ann Taylor. And I hate to say it, but all of the people who questioned me questioning Ann Taylor, I wonder if you are still questioning me questioning Ann Taylor. Because Ann Taylor works for the fucking state, mate. And ultimately, she has stood there and she has put her hand on Bryan Kohberger's shoulder and said how much she believes that he is innocent of this crime. And I read you an excerpt from, and I'll do another live. I can't do it now because it's like 20 past midnight and I've got to be up to take Freya to college in the morning early. But they basically said this is how these people work inside the courtroom. They will get you, even these state defenders, they will put their arm around you and make you feel like they have your back. You are safe. You're safe as houses. But while at the same time, they've got one finger in your asshole. Do you know what I mean? It's just, who knows? Who knows? I just can't understand. Tell me in the comments down below, why do you think Idaho, the state of Idaho, chose to give this guy a plea deal? Because the only thing that makes sense to me is they gave him a plea deal because they feared that this motherfucker would walk. And why would they fear he could walk if they had a solid, bulletproof case? Maybe they didn't. Did they think that he would walk on appeal? And if that's the case, then why wouldn't Ann Taylor tell Bryan Kohberger to fuck that plea deal off? There you go. But anyway, that's part one. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I say, we'll let the dust settle on this news for a few more hours and then we will reconvene. Likely tomorrow night we'll come together again and have another chat about it. But thank you so much for being here. And to the trolls, look, you might not like it, but I will do, if I had to do this again, I would do it the same every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Mwah.